Hi everyone, this is the E-mini S&P 500 futures. I'm using a 2000 tick chart and a 21 EMA. I've got my overnight high up here and my overnight low down here. These are our key levels for the day. I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. And so starting off, notice that we have these two legs up right here. As soon as that measured move is met, price pushed on lower here. And like I said, I started trading in this area here. And so when I see this, I want to look for a reversal pattern. We're clearly reversing down right off that measured move. It's a very strong looking push down. So I would like to see a reversal pattern, which is a failed second entry. And we push lower here. And notice how price forms a to the tick failed second entry right here. First entry long, second entry long, failure. Now this is too small picture for me. I'm not a scalper. I care about bigger picture structures and trend breaks, clear separation of legs. This is this is just chop to me. I understand to the tick there's a failed second entry there, but it's just not big picture enough. Notice how after we drop lower here and we get this downtrend, we get this two-legged break. Now when we get this two-legged break, at this point this is a reversal pattern because it's a failed second entry. Notice from here we have first entry long, second entry long, and then failure. So it's a failed second entry holding on that previous resistance area at an expected reversal area, and so that's why I like this trade so much. Notice that this measured move is met. Really everything about this trade is great. So there is one thing I want to mention though. We have this push up right here. Notice this trend line. So it is into this trend line. It does have an overshoot. Overshoots do lead to breaks, but what really makes me confident in it, even though we have this trend line here, is just because it's very big picture. It's a small picture trend line, and we have a big picture reversal pattern at a clear reversal area. So that's why I like this trade so much. And it had room to the EMA, and because usually on a setup this size, like a big picture failed second entry like this, you can oftentimes get a bigger push down and then get in on the full second leg down. But in this case here, we just didn't get the bigger picture entry to make that second leg down. You don't want to enter right into this trend line here. Like when we have this push off here, you don't want to enter under that, because it's right into this trend line here. So, and when we break that trend line, you have this wider trend line right there. So you don't want to just enter right into that. And plus it was getting, kind of sideways in that area anyway. Wouldn't really want to push it past those lows. But there just wasn't an entry to get that bigger picture move, but we did still have a big picture failed second entry. We just got a little bit smaller of an entry. So anyway, where was I? So right after here, we push lower here. It starts to go sideways, pushes through the target, finds resistance right at the EMA, starts to go sideways, and then we get this push down. Now, even though we didn't make a full second leg down, price clearly did attempt that second leg. So notice here that we have two legs up, and then right after that measured move is met, we immediately push into two legs down. So first leg separated by a perfect measured move, and then we attempt that second leg there, and then it failed. And so when we push up here, we can look for a failed second entry again, as long as it's holding above this resistance up here and also has room to this high right here. Now, unfortunately, it did not set up perfectly. You can see that after it, after you have that leg up right there, you do get two legs back, but it's just too small picture again. It's a little bit bigger picture than over here, because you can at least see the legs with the bodies, but really it is just kind of going sideways there. So it has room and it can be tempting, but it's not a clear reversal pattern. It really is just you can see that there's two legs in that break there, but it's really just going sideways. I want to see clear legs, clear separation of the legs. So this is just not good enough. We push on up here, reaches that overnight high, finds some resistance before pushing on through, and when you break out of an overnight level or a range high or range low or whatever, you want to see two attempts to fade before you buy the breakout. You don't want to just buy the breakout because it's, you have a bullish bar pushing out. You want to wait on two attempts to fade before buying the breakout. So when we break out here, notice that price has its first attempt again at this point here, even though it's barely closing above the overnight high at that point. You only have one attempt to fade. And so when you push up here and get that second push down, you do have two attempts at this point. It has faded in. And so you don't want to just enter long, even though, which let me draw off the measured move really quick. So even though you've pushed past this measured move and you have a green bar, it doesn't mean you immediately want to go long. You did already fade back in. You're entering into the EMA and this overnight high at that point, so it's just not ideal. You're not off of anything, but when you push up right here, a lot of people might want to go long there. It's not a good idea, but a lot of people might want to because they'll say, oh, we have 2 attempts to fade and it's pushing back out. But the problem is it did already fade at that point, and now it's breaking back out. So you're basically expecting it to break out right there. Now, I see what they mean. You have 2 legs there. It's pushing back out, but it looks tempting because of that 2-legged move and then the push up. But you don't want to expect it to break out of that level right there. And so anyway, we push on up here, finds resistance at that high, making that double top, and we have another push down. Now, this 2-legged move on a bigger picture is really just 1 leg, and then you can see you have this 2-legged move here. So you actually have these 2 big picture attempts to fade. And then the same thing right here, just because you have this 2-legged move and it's rushing back above, same thing as right here. You don't want to expect it to break out. You can't just expect it to push on out just because it has a couple times before in that day. But, you'd of course also have to push your target way out of that double top right there. So anyway, nothing there. Now if we push up and get a good failed second entry holding above that has room, then we can get along, but unfortunately that just doesn't set up. We continue higher here, we overshoot this channel. Now when this channel gets an overshoot, you can expect price to generally have sharper moves down. When when overshoots occur, you can expect breaks commonly. And because of that, you'll often get sharp moves down. Now, in this case here, we did get a couple sharp moves down, and I was wanting to get a clear retest of this overnight high, or excuse me, not overnight high, this is the previous range high. I was wanting to get a clear retest of that for a long, but it barely missed it, and so you can't take that, it's not off of anything. And then, of course, this higher low is right into that trend line right there, so you don't want to enter on that. And it really just pushes on up without us, and as it pushed up here, I extended this just to see how it would hold, to see if it would fit, but it ended up just pushing on through. Sometimes overshoots, you'll get an overshoot, and then it'll start to overshoot again, and then it actually just ends up holding on that level. But in this case here, it ends up just pushing on out. So anyway, we get this uptrend right here. Notice we have this 2-legged move up. So just look at all these 2-legged moves. These are very important to understand. That was a perfect measured move right there, perfect measured move up right there, near perfect right there, and then with this 2-legged move up here, we start finding resistance right as we reach it. And so when we push into it here and then get this push off, this is just a first entry, and I know someone's going to ask about this tick higher. I see there's a tick higher again, but just like I was explaining with the with this failed second entry over here, this is just too small picture. I just see this as 1 leg down. So when I see this push down and then it hold on, this is just a first entry to me. And even if it was a second entry, you're entering right into the measured move level, major measured move. So you don't want to do that. And so anyway, it does end up pushing higher here. It's starting to get choppy, make this new high. We get a couple legs down. Again, the entry is right into that measured move level. It's just not safe. And so we push on up, higher low, again, same thing. You don't want to enter onto any of that stuff that's in this, chopping around the overnight, chopping around the measured move level. If you ever hear me mess up terms, like for some reason lately I've been calling measured moves overnight high levels, it's because when you make videos, you say all these terms out loud all the time, and it's easy to get tongue-tied. So anyway, we get a couple legs up here. You don't want to enter on any of that. We break out and we fade back in. Now, we get this sharp move down right when this measured move is met. So, or not right, it's chopping around, but when you zoom out, look at the big picture, after this 2-legged move was met, that's when we started pushing back down very hard. So we can get a second leg down. We can form a reversal pattern. Now, ideally, what would have happened was we just push down and get 2 legs back holding on the EMA. But that has not happened. So what could happen is let me just draw this up really quick. what could happen is we push lower and get a smaller failed second entry while there's still this measured move in play, and so you can use the momentum from the measured move and get a smaller reversal pattern stemming from right here. So that's a possibility. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to make the video on the NQ now. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.